everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Geek Takeover. This time it is The Last of Us, Season 2, Episode 7, Season Finale, Breakdown. I'm going to do this kind of two ways, and hopefully the rain outside doesn't cut the power because it is raining cats and dogs. So I'm going to do a episode recap like I normally do with this one. And then probably immediately after this, I'm going to do a season breakdown where I have lists my pros, cons, breakout performances, my takeaways and predictions, and then my rating. So this one is strictly just episode 7. So with that being said, let's just jump right into it. In this episode, it starts off with Jesse having to take the arrow out of Dina's leg. He offers her a drink. She declines heavily. That's raising a red flag or a green flag, depending on how Jesse looked at it. Eventually, the arrow gets taken out of her leg. Ellie shows back up after her showdown with Nora. Ellie goes to check on Dina. Dina is helping wipe Ellie down. They're having a very intimate moment. It's almost direct from the game, right after she also kills Nora in the game. They share a moment, and Ellie kind of confides in Dina. In this one, it's a little differently. Especially the main difference was Ellie told Dina she didn't kill Nora. She just practically beat the living shit out of her. She was already infected, so why bother? She also told Dina about Salt Lake, which I don't believe that Dina ever knew about Salt Lake in the game, if I remember correctly. But when Ellie tells her this news, she kind of looks distraught and doesn't know how to feel. And I do believe that goes back to when Dina was telling Ellie about her family, about her sister and her mom. I think she looked at Joel as a father figure, and then hearing this, she kind of looked at him a little differently because he could have been like the guys that took her mom away from her. That's kind of how I saw that. She also tells Ellie, I just want to go home. And they all mutually agree. So day 3 rolls around. It's time to go get Tommy. They can't leave without Tommy. And Dina's left at the theater by herself because she can't really do anything. So Ellie and Jesse go to the rendezvous to hopefully wait for Tommy. On their track to the rendezvous point, Jesse kind of tricks Ellie into telling him that Dina is pregnant. He just kind of guessed, for lack of better terms. And they also run into a bunch of wolves beating on a Scar, Seraphite. They strip him down, drag him into the street, send his ass who knows where. Ellie, she's like, we got to go help this guy. Jesse's like, no, this is not our war. We just need to stop and go home. And that's kind of like a big thing because Ellie really, really wanted to help the Seraphite. And Jesse was just like, no, we're not doing this. So from there, we go back to the Wolf home base where we see Jeffrey Wright, Isaac, and then his second in command, who I don't know if we necessarily got a name for the character. If we did, it's escaping me, so I don't know her name at the moment. I just put down second in command. Anyways, he wants to know, where is Abby? Abby's not at the Wolf base. That's interesting. I wonder, we're kind of wondering why. And his second in command is like, we don't have Abby, but we have Manny. Isaac's like, well, we have 1,000 fucking Mannys. We don't need 1,000 Mannys. We need one Abby. Because whatever they are planning right here, right now, is so big that he's like, I'm probably going to die. You're probably going to die. If we win, who's going to run these fools? And because he really trusted and wanted Abby to run the Wolves. We're definitely going to get a lot more about that in season 3, but that's the big thing, is he wanted her to run the Wolves. And I think that's kind of cool, because I don't believe that he said that in the game. I think that is different from the game. Anyway, so we go back to Jesse and Ellie make it to the bookstore. They rendezvous point. Tommy's not there. They kind of have a little cute moment talking about Dina and the baby. And just relationships and stuff like that. And then they hear over the radio that there's a sniper shooting at them, and somebody needs backup. And it's a wolf radio. They go up to the rooftop. Jesse says, hey, look, over this way, that's where the shooting is. That's where Tommy is. He's the sniper. Ellie, in the complete opposite direction, sees a Ferris wheel and an aquarium. One of the things that Nora kept telling her about was a wheel and a whale. That's where Abby is. Ellie sees that. She says, Tommy can take care of himself. Let's go get Abby. Let's go. Jesse is standing his ground. He's like, we're not doing this. You dragged us here. This is not our war. Let's get Tommy and get the fuck out of Seattle. Basically. And Ellie goes off. She's going off on a rant. She's like, if more people would just voted yes with you, we would have had a full team here in Seattle. We would have taken out Abby. We would have blah, 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 blah. And Jesse dropped a bombshell on Ellie. He said, I voted no. I voted we should not have came here. And that just like really pissed Ellie off. She called him selfish. She was just going off on him, talking about how much of a coward he is and about the community this, community that. And Jesse's just he's had it with Ellie at this point. He says, you know what? Go. I don't care anymore. And so she says, all right, bet. She goes off to the aquarium. He goes off to go find Tommy. Ellie has made it down to the docks. It's a storm pouring down like it is outside. Maybe not as bad. In the show is basically, it probably was a hurricane. You know, in all seriousness, it was probably a hurricane that they were going through. But she needs a boat so she can go across the water to go to the aquarium. And she sees a couple people going down to the docks to a boat, and she's about to shoot them, but then she sees a group of people, more boats coming. We don't know this. Well, she doesn't know this, but we as the audience know that these are the wolves. They're going to some island for some raid against some people. I wonder who this could be about. Anyways, Ellie eventually finds a boat. She's about halfway to the island. She gets rammed, and I mean rammed, by a huge ass wave. And she somehow ends up on the Seraphite Island, which she never ended up there before. And I don't really understand why she got washed up on shore, because she gets taken by the Seraphites, neck around a noose, is about to get hung, and then the Seraphite Island gets attacked, or the main island gets attacked, and they just say, fuck Ellie, leave her, let's go to our village. And then Ellie goes back on the boat and back to the aquarium. On one hand, I think it was cool that she went to the island, because that's different than the game. On the other hand, made no sense. So I don't understand why. But now we get to the meat and bones of this episode. She makes it to the aquarium. She breaks in. She takes her time. She sees a bunch of blood and bandages around. And then she runs into Mel and Owen. She overhears them talking about Abby and going to help her. Mel is telling Owen no. Owen is wanting to go help her regardless of what Mel is saying. Ellie tells them, hey, look, I just want Abby. I don't want to kill you guys. Just point on the map. She says, Owen, you're going to point at the map. And Mel, if you're where you tell me Abby is, if it doesn't match up, then I'm going to kill you both. Mel is basically trying to tell Owen, convince him, just do it. Just give her up. And Owen is standing his ground. Eventually it gets to the point where Owen is finally like, okay, fine, I'll show you where she is. He reaches for the map, but he has a gun down there. Of course, he tries to take a shot. Ellie sees that. She's like, no, sir. Boom. I think 2 shots. She shot 2 shots. One went right through the jugular of Owen. Beautiful shot. A fucking incredible shot, regardless. And then probably my favorite part of this episode is the second bullet nicked Mel right across the neck, just enough to where she was going to bleed out. So she falls. Ellie's panicking because she didn't mean to shoot her. And Mel says, "Get my baby out. Get my baby out." Softly, like it's hard for her to hear. Ellie opens up her jacket. She's that she is pregnant, and she panics even more. She's like, "I don't know what to do." Mel, bleeding out, softly spoken, she tells her, "You're gonna have to cut me open and get my baby out." Ellie doesn't know where to cut her. She's panicking. She's freaking out. Mel is basically dying, dead at this point. She's barely coherent. She is imagining things, more or less. Ellie can't help her. Mel asks, "Is my baby out?" "You did good. Thank you." As she dies. And Ellie ultimately covers her back up because she didn't know what to do. She panicked. She freaked out. She didn't want to do that. She didn't want to hurt a baby. You know, Dina's pregnant. You know, she probably saw that and was thinking to herself, what if this was Dina? What did I just do? What is all this because of one person? I think all that's running through Ellie as a character's mind. And of course, just in time, after the fact, Tommy and Jesse show up to save her ass. Not really save her ass, I shouldn't say. They show up to take her back. Tommy gives Ellie a hug, and they embrace. They go back to the theater. While we're in the theater, Tommy goes into the lobby to start packing. Jesse and Ellie share one more moment together. They apologize. It was Jesse's idea to go back and help Ellie. And then they hear a commotion in the lobby. They start beelining it. Jesse, you know, this man is faster than Ellie. He bursts through the door first, and boom, he's shot in the neck and dead. No, sorry, he's shot in the cheek and dead. And of course, you know, playing the game, we know this was coming. But it's funny because throughout the entire episode, Jesse's character is saying, "I'm not gonna die here because of you. I'm not gonna die here. I can't die. I'm gonna be a dad. I gotta be there for my kid." Well, buddy, I think you jinxed yourself a little too much. He gets shot. Tommy is on the ground, stomach first, gun drawn on him. Ellie has to toss her weapon. She stands up. Boom. It's Abby. She looks like she's gone through some shit. She has a mark around her neck. What could that mean? You know, we don't know. But the episode ends. Abby says, "You had a chance and you wasted it. I gave you a chance. Why did you waste it?" Ellie's basically saying, "I didn't mean to kill your friends. I'm sorry. Please don't kill Tommy. Let him go. Please don't kill me." More or less begging. And I know a lot of people had an issue with this. I'm just going to time out right here. A lot of people had an issue with this about Bella's performance. I think Bella did really good in this series. I think when she said, "I didn't mean to kill your friends," I think she was mainly talking about Mel. I think Mel and Owen were the ones that she was talking about because she really didn't mean to. I genuinely think in the game and in this, she probably would have let them live. Because they meant her no harm. They meant her no threat. The only reason why they were threatened and she was threatened was because of the gun. All right, time in. So, you hear a gunshot, fade to black. I thought the credits were going to roll right there. No, we get a tease of Abby on a couch, Seattle day one. She's woken up by Manny. And she's in some kind of room, exits the room to go outside, and it's a stadium full of just greenery, people, cars, everything. And then the credits roll. And there we are, people. Last of Us Season 2 has concluded with a slight tease to Season 3, starting with Abby Seattle Day 1. We made it, folks. 7 episodes, a little rushed at parts, could have been fleshed out more. You know, I liked it. I think season 1 was better. That's just my personal preference. But if you want to hear my season thoughts, stay tuned for next week's episode, which is going to be my full breakdown of the whole season as a total. But if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit a like button. Please make sure to subscribe. Please make sure to comment and share with your friends. It is greatly appreciated. Any support is much love. I will give you a crisp high five for every like. You guys, hope you guys enjoyed this series. Again, I got one more Last of Us video, and then we're off to whatever is next in the future. So, until next time, this has been the Geek Takeover, signing off.